Hi, my name's Deborah Carr and I write historical fiction for HarperCollins. One of the books I've written is An Island at War, and I'm talking to you today about this book because it is Liberation Day. It is May the 9th and it is 78 years today since the island was liberated by British forces after the Second World War. So Jersey, as well as the other Channel Islands, were occupied during the Second World War by Nazi forces. They're the only part of the United Kingdom to be occupied, and Jersey was invaded on the 1st of July 1940, and it was liberated, as I said, on May the 9th 1945. The other Channel Islands were invaded on different days, and they were also liberated on different days, so the 8th, the 10th, the 11th, that sort of thing. And one of the things we always do is celebrate in all the Channel Islands. We celebrate our Liberation Days with bank holidays, and we have a church service on that day, church services on that day. We put up bunting and flags and get together with family and friends, and we celebrate the end of those dark times that our forebears went through. This book I wrote during lockdown, actually, when I was separated from my own children. My children are grown up. My son lives on the other side of the world where he works, and my daughter lives in the UK where she works. And I didn't know when I'd next see them again, and it was a frightening time for all of us, wasn't it? This was especially dark. In the Second World War, the islanders had to overnight change their entire lives, and they were ruled by different regulations, constant changes brought in by the Nazi forces. They had to drive on a different side of the road. They immediately had to put their clocks forward 1 hour and live by continental time. And towards the end of the war, they were starving, as were German troops too. It was a very, very dark time. And every day we have reminders of that time when the slaves that were brought over to build part of Hitler's Atlantic Wall, for example, which you'll see down in Waynay Beach, St Bullard's Beach, St Wan's Beach, and all the different bunkers and gun emplacements, which some have been there, still there, and some have been restored. There's a lot of a reminder here. I didn't notice them growing up because they're just part of our everyday. I now see them in a totally different way, and now it makes me think. Now I've researched it and understood just through hearing so many stories over my life how difficult it must have been for people. In this book, there are two sisters. They live on a small farm with their father and their grandmother, and at the beginning of the war something terrible happens. The youngest sister is evacuated, as my father and my grandmother were, to London, supposedly the safety of London, and the older sister has to stay behind and help run the farm, not realising that Nazi forces would actually invade the island. And it's all the different things that the islanders went through. This book actually is a USA Today bestseller, which I'm enormously proud of and grateful for, and I've had the most amazing feedback from it. And I just thought it'd be a good book to talk about today because I was inspired by my great-grandmother who was here throughout the war, and the many family friends I've heard stories from over the years to write this. I've dedicated this book to them too, and thought that if you would like to hear or understand maybe a little bit more of what the islanders went through during that difficult time, those difficult years, then maybe you might want to think about reading this book. And if you do, thank you. If you want to find out more, please subscribe below. And if you're from the island, happy Liberation Day.